Ladies and gentlemen, this is internet personality Vangelus, here with a review of Kuuga wireframe form. Oh no, I'm just kidding, oh. This is the exclusive Rising Mighty Kuuga from the SHFiguarts event that was put on by Bandai in Japan over the course of a week in a couple of different locations. In order to get a hold of one of these, you had to not only attend the event, but you also could only buy two. You had to line up, buy two, and be on your way. Or you could line up, buy two, and then line up again, and buy two again, and line up again. Anyway, I want to thank Okinawam in 1978 for being the fellow who stood in line several times to help me and several other people get a hold of this. I wanted to briefly show the box because the SHFiguarts toys came in a very different box style than the other stuff that Figuarts puts out. Tamashii Web exclusives still come in your usual Figuarts box, so this is a bit of a change of pace. And I gotta say, the box is cheaper. Aside from having no window, I mean, it has a cool image on the front, but aside from having no window, the actual cardboard of the box, I kid you not, feels thinner than the cardboard of a usual Figuarts box. Maybe it's just me, maybe I'm being weird, but I don't know, this box feels really flimsy to me. The box aside, you get the... I forgot to tell you, Figuarts have instruction sheets. These instruction sheets basically say, you can put hands on the wrist! That's really about it. Anyway, I just wanted to quickly show you the packaging. It's basically Mighty Form's packaging. And that's really cool because this means he comes with all of Mighty Form's hands. And as you're going to see in another video in this series, someone didn't get quite so lucky. Anyway, let's Cho Henshin and rise up. Now, I have said that the other Kuugas could represent either Godai or Onedara, but Rising Mighty Kuuga is 100% Godai. Generally, his colors are very much akin to Mighty Form. It's the same red and the same gold, just a lot more of the gold. There are additional gold paint apps all over the place, but specifically there are new molding pieces on here too, and some of them might not be totally obvious right away. I'm going to do those in a bit of a comparison shot, but I'll just show you some stuff up close that's kind of interesting. On the back of all of his hands, including every single set of spare hands, is some more Grongi alphabet. And I really like that they carried through with this on every hand, like his thumbs up hand, for instance. It's got it as well. And it's just a really great little touch that adds a special kind of sense of aesthetic value to this SHFiguarts Volume 1 exclusive. The other major piece of alteration on this guy would be on the Arkle. He's got an additional gold outfitting on here, and instead of a red lens, he's got a clear yellow lens. So this is, again, as far as I can tell, some new molding, and some more attention to detail that I'm really appreciating. The final thing to bring up would be the Mighty Anklet is another full-on piece of new molding for, I believe, the entire shin. Now, when I do the back of the finger check, it doesn't feel like it's die-cast, so I think it's still just plastic molded, but that's not a bad thing, and I think, if you look at it very carefully, it's got some Grongi lettering molded on it, so the attention to detail on what is pretty much a very limited piece is quite impressive. Now, for a little bit of side-to-side, let's line up the two Kuugas. Let's think of this as Godai, I guess being portrayed by someone who's willing to come back to re-portray him, meeting up with Onedara. Something that I really did wish would happen in Decade, but I understand why it couldn't. So, right up front, the obvious differences would be in the belt. Of course, down here on the legs, the Mighty Anklet that I pointed out, but here on the belts, you can see the slight addition of the golden plates over top that are sculpted in. And then on the forearms, here's the bit of new sculpting. I didn't notice at first, but the rising forearm here is entirely new. It has an additional ring across the top. So that was kind of interesting. And then up here on the shoulder pads, there's some additional gold trim. And on the two torsos, there's a whole pile of additional gold trim. And if we can raise our hands together and be men all at once, on the arms, the hands have the, aside from the Grongi lettering, another bit of gold trim added in to the normal mighty paint deco. But oddly enough, from the neck up on the heads, as far as I can tell, the heads are actually identical. The collarbone has some additional gold, but the heads are identical. So, in general, there's a bit of a comparison shot for you of, if you do take the plunge on Rising Mighty, here's the bonuses you will get. Accessory-wise, he comes with every single hand that Mighty Form came with. So, as you can see down here, you've got the thumbs-up hand, the clenchy splayed hands, the holding things hands, the fists, and the martial artsy calmer hands that are on the body right now. So, the ultimate question, is Rising Mighty worth it? Well, it depends. You see, this guy is a little hard to come by nowadays, and if you got in touch with a middleman pretty quickly who was going by Tamashii features, then you could have gotten one, I think, for around about 45 or 50 shipped. I can't quite remember. I don't want to go and check my PayPal invoice because that'll just make me sad at how I don't have money. But if you could get one back then, I think it was worth it. If you're a Kuuga fan, it's worth it. If you aren't a Kuuga fan and you're just wondering if this exclusive will blow you away, kind of in the same vein as how Kamen Rider Skull has won over a lot of people who don't even watch Kamen Rider, I don't really think it'll do too much in that regard. I mean, this is definitely a really, really well done remold and redeco. It's not just adding gold trim to Mighty Form, it's adding a whole lot of things to Mighty Form. I mean, there's the new moldings, the Grongi alphabet on the back of all the hands. There's a lot of little things that kind of add up in my mind as making this guy a lot cooler. But it's hard to really recommend him, given that now it'll probably cost you somewhere between $50 to $80 to get a hold of this guy. But to pay a really big markup on this guy, to go beyond $50 on him, I can't really say you should do it unless you're big into Kuuga. If you are really into Kuuga, this is really something you should pick up, because Rising Mighty Form is a fairly iconic piece of Kuuga imagery. But if you're just a casual Kamen Rider observer, this probably isn't your thing. But in my case, this really is my thing, and I am really, really intensely jazzed about owning it. I want to thank Okinawam again for standing in line for not just me, but a whole lot of other people. And if you do want to get a hold of this, I'd say check with some of the middleman services and online stores that are out and about. Of course, Yokata Shopping. Maybe give Autocute, CS Toys, or Angles a glance as well. I'm not sure if they got this thing in, but they seem to have been touching on exclusives if you find middleman services a little bit uncomfortable. Anyway, this has been Internet Personality Vangelus. I hope that this gave you a nice glimpse of Rising Mighty Kuuga and helped you out with taking the plunge, or at least gave you a chance to spectate him in high definition. Now, I was praising him for having all those different hands, and the thing is that he is actually the second mold to use the Rising remolds. And the very first one didn't luck out so much on hands, I think maybe to recoup the costs of remolding all those different parts. And I think it's time that we meet that individual. Because let me tell you, he is amazing.